Guys, I'm willing to bet you've met someone who, on paper, is completely average. They aren't exceptionally good looking, they don't drive a flashy car, and they aren't dropping hilarious punchlines every 5 seconds. Yet, whenever they walk into a room, the energy shifts. People naturally gravitate toward them. Conversations instantly become more comfortable, and everybody wants them in their social circle. On the flip side, you've probably seen people, or maybe you've experienced this yourself, who try incredibly hard to be friendly. They're polite, they buy people drinks, they agree with every opinion, and they treat everyone with respect. Yet, despite all that effort, they end up getting sidelined, forgotten, or treated like background noise. Why does this happen? Why do some people become effortlessly magnetic without looking like they're trying, while others put in maximum effort only to receive minimal warmth in return? The uncomfortable truth is this: being nice is simply not enough. In fact, in many social situations, desperately trying to get people to like you actually pushes them away. Human attraction isn't built on a cold, logical checklist. It is governed almost entirely by underlying psychological triggers. When you meet someone new, their subconscious brain evaluates you within the first few minutes using hardwired evolutionary patterns. If you don't understand how these mechanisms work, you risk staying stuck in the exact same social dynamics, struggling to form genuine connections. Let's unpack the 5 core psychological principles that explain how deep human connection actually works, so you can stop chasing validation and start building authentic, effortless rapport. 1. Feelings over words. The peak end rule. The single biggest mistake people make when trying to connect with someone is obsessing over what to say next. They get trapped in their own heads. What if I run out of topics? What if I say something awkward? What if I sound boring? Here's the reality. People rarely remember the precise words you spoke. What they remember vividly is how they felt while talking to you, and how they felt right after the conversation ended. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman demonstrated this through a cognitive bias known as the peak end rule. His research proved that the human brain does not evaluate an experience by averaging every single moment. Instead, it relies on 2 specific anchors. The peak, the moment of highest emotional intensity during the interaction. The end, how the interaction wrapped up. Think about your own life. You've likely forgotten the exact conversations you had with people months ago, but you distinctly remember who made you feel listened to, who made you feel valued, and who left you feeling mentally exhausted. Your brain prioritizes emotional memory over verbal detail. How to apply this? When you are engaged in a conversation, stop trying to perform like a keynote speaker. Focus entirely on creating a comfortable emotional space. Put your phone away completely to offer undivided attention. Match their emotional frequency instead of trying to dominate the mood. Conclude the conversation on a warm, positive note rather than letting it awkwardly fizzle out. 2. Emotional contagion. The unseen energy you radiate. Have you ever noticed how a single person walking into a room can instantly lift everyone's spirits, or conversely, ruin the entire vibe without saying a word? This isn't magic, it's a biological process known as emotional contagion. Human beings possess mirror neuron systems that subconsciously mimic the facial expressions, body language, vocal cadence, and emotional states of the people around them. If you approach someone feeling anxious, defensive, or drained, their brain detects those subtle micro-expressions, and mirror neurons begin to replicate that exact discomfort. They end up labeling you as uncomfortable, when in reality, they are simply reflecting the nervous energy you brought into the room. How to apply this? The most likable people aren't necessarily the funniest or smartest. They are the ones who broadcast emotional stability and warmth. Before walking into a social setting, take a moment to regulate your internal state. If you bring genuine enthusiasm, people around you will feel energized. If you bring calm confidence, people will feel relaxed in your presence. If you bring chronic complaining and cynicism, people will naturally distance themselves to protect their own mood. 3. The validation paradox. Why neediness destroys magnetism. This brings us to one of the most interesting paradoxes in social psychology. The harder you try to make people like you, the less likely they are to respect you. When you actively chase approval, whether by constantly bragging about your achievements, agreeing with statements you secretly disagree with, or fishing for compliments, you broadcast a subtle signal. I need your permission to feel good about. In psychology, self-determination theory highlights that humans are naturally drawn to individuals who exhibit autonomy and intrinsic self-worth. When your value is generated internally, you don't need to extract it from the room. The shift from scarcity to abundance neediness stems from a scarcity mindset. I must convince this person to accept me. Authentic magnetism comes from an abundance mindset. I am content with who I am, and I am genuinely curious to see if we share a real connection. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth to everyone you meet, your posture relaxes, your voice settles, and your presence becomes infinitely more attractive. 4. The charismatic reciprocity loop. Many people assume charismatic individuals are masters of public speaking. While eloquence helps, true charisma is usually built on master-level listening. This relies on the psychological law of reciprocity. When you make someone feel truly heard, respected, and validated, their brain triggers a natural desire to return that same respect to you. The absolute favorite topic of almost every human being on the planet is, unsurprisingly, themselves. Their experiences, their struggles, their triumphs, and their perspectives. How to execute active listening. When someone is sharing a story with you, resist the urge to interrupt with a story of your own, just to prove you can relate or one-up them. Validate their experience before offering an opinion. Ask curious, open-ended follow-up questions that allow them to dive deeper into their own narrative. When people leave a conversation feeling like they were genuinely seen and understood, they associate those positive feelings directly with you. Ironically, by talking less about yourself, you make a far more lasting impression. 5. The 2 questions. Every brain asks, warmth versus competence. Whenever you meet a stranger, their brain automatically evaluates you along 2 primary social dimensions, researched extensively by social psychologist Susan Fiske: warmth and competence. Subconsciously, their brain is attempting to answer 2 core evolutionary questions. Warmth: does this person have good intentions toward me? Competence: is this person capable of acting on those intentions? How these 2 traits balance out dictates how people treat you. High competence plus low warmth. You appear cold, arrogant, or intimidating. People may respect your skills, but they won't feel comfortable around you. High warmth plus low competence. You fall into the classic Mr. Nice Guy trap. You are overly agreeable, lack boundaries, and have no strong opinions. People may find you pleasant, but they won't truly respect you or take you seriously. High warmth plus high competence. This is the sweet spot of high-value charisma. You are approachable, kind, and empathetic, yet grounded, capable, and firm in your boundaries. Building competence in your personal and professional life gives you the quiet confidence required to express genuine warmth. And when it comes to developing your skills, mastering your craft, or equipping yourself with the right productivity software and official digital tools to level up your work, you can simply get them at softbank.id. Having your tools and practical life in order gives you that baseline competence, allowing you to focus your mental energy on building real-world relationships. The ultimate reality check. At the end of the day, you must accept one fundamental truth. It is completely impossible to be liked by everyone. There is a timeless Arabic proverb that says, pleasing everybody is a goal that can never be reached. No matter how charismatic, kind, or balanced you become, there will always be people who simply do not click with you, and that is perfectly okay. Your goal should never be to shape-shift your personality to fit every room you walk into. The real objective is to become comfortable in your own skin, present a balanced blend of warmth and competence, and make the right people feel valued whenever they spend time with you. When you stop performing for others and start bringing authentic, grounded energy to your interactions, social connections cease to feel like hard work. They become a natural extension of who you are.